Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully keep all his commands that I am giving you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the world. Verse 2. You will experience all these blessings if you obey the Lord your God. Verse 3. Your towns and your fields will be blessed. Verse 4. Your children and your crops will be blessed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be blessed. Verse 5. Your fruit baskets and bread bowls will be blessed. Verse 6. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you'll be blessed. Verse 7. The Lord will conquer you enemies when they attack you. They will attack you from one direction, but they will scatter from you in 7. Verse 8. The Lord will guarantee a blessing on everything you do, and will fill your storehouse with grain. The Lord your God will bless you in the land he is giving you. Verse 9. If you obey the commands of the Lord your God and walk in his ways, the Lord will establish you as his holy people, as he swore he would do. Verse 10. Then all the nations of the world will see that you are a people claimed by the Lord, and they will stand in awe of you. Verse 11. The Lord will give you prosperity in the land he swore to your ancestors to give you, blessing you with many children, numerous livestock, and abundant crops. Verse 12. The Lord will send rain at the proper time from his rich treasury in the heavens and will bless all the work you do. You will lend to many nations, but you will never need to borrow from them. Verse 13. If you listen to these commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today, and if you carefully obey them, the Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you will always be on top and never at the bottom. Verse 14. You must not turn away from any of the commands I am giving you today, nor follow after other gods and worship them. Verse 15. But if you refuse to listen to the Lord your God and do not obey all the commands and decrees I am giving you today, all these curses will come and overwhelm you. Verse 16. Your towns and your fields will be cursed. Verse 17. Your fruit basket and bread board will be cursed. Verse 18. Your children and your crops will be cursed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be cursed. Verse 19. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you will be cursed. Verse 20. The Lord himself will send on you curses, confusion, and frustration in everything you do, until at last you are completely destroyed for doing evil and abandoning me. Verse 21. The Lord will afflict you with diseases until none of you are left in the land you are about to enter and occupy. Verse 22. The Lord will strike you with wasting diseases, fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, and with blight and mildew. These diseases will pursue you until you die. Verse 23. The skies above will be as unyielding as bronze, and the earth beneath will be as hard as iron. Verse 24. The Lord will change the rain that falls on your land into powder, and dust will pour down from the sky until you are destroyed. Verse 25. The Lord will cause you to be defeated by your enemies. You will attack your enemies from one direction, but you will scatter from them in 7. You will be an object of horror to all the kingdoms of the earth. Verse 26. Your corpse will be a food for all the scavenging birds and wild animals, and no one will be there to chase them away. Verse 27. The Lord will afflict you with the boils of Egypt, and with tumors, scurvy, and the itch from which you cannot be cured. Verse 28. The Lord will strike you with madness, blindness, and panic. Verse 29. You will grope around in broad daylight like a blind person groping in the darkness, but you will not find your way. You will be oppressed and robbed continually, and no one will come to you save you. Verse 30. You will be engaged to a woman, but another man will sleep with her. You will build a house, but someone else will live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will never enjoy its fruit. Verse 31. Your ox will be butchered before your eyes. but you will not eat a single bite of the meat. Your donkey will be taken from you, never to be returned. Your sheep and goats will be given to your enemies, and no one will be there to help you. Verse 32, you will watch as your sons and daughters are taken away as slaves. Your heart will break for them, but you won't be able to help them. Verse 33, a foreign nation you have never heard about will eat the crops you worked so hard to grow. You will suffer under constant oppression and harsh treatment. Verse 34, you will go mad because of all the tragedy you see around you. Verse 35, the Lord will cover your knees and legs with incurable boils. In fact, you will be covered from head to toe. Verse 36, the Lord will exile you and your kin to a nation unknown to you and your ancestors. There in exile, you will worship gods of wood and stone. Verse 37, you will become an object of horror, ridicule, and mockery among all the nations to which the Lord sent you. Verse 38, you will plant much, but harvest little, for locusts will eat your crops. Verse 39, you will plant vineyards and care for them, but you will not drink the wine or eat the grapes, for worms will destroy the vines. Verse 40, you will grow olive trees throughout your land, but you will never use the olive oil, for the fruits will drop before it ripens. Verse 41, you will have sons and daughters, but you will lose them, for they will be led away into captivity. Verse 42, swarms of insects will destroy your trees and crops. Verse 43, the foreigners living among you will become stronger and stronger, while you become weaker and weaker. Verse 44, they will lend money to you, but you will not lend to them. They will be the head, and you will be their tail. Verse 45, if you refuse to listen to the Lord your God and to obey the commands and decrees he is giving you, all these curses will pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed. Verse 46, these horrors will serve as a sign of warning among you and your descendants forever. Verse 47, if you do not serve the Lord your God with joy and enthusiasm for the abundant benefit you have received. Verse 48, and you will serve your enemies whom the Lord will send against you. You will be left hungry, thirsty, naked, and lacking in everything. The Lord will put an iron yoke on your neck, oppressing you harshly until he has destroyed you. Verse 49, the Lord will bring a distant nation against you from the end of the earth, and it will swoop down on you like a vulture. It is a nation whose language you do not understand. Verse 50, a fierce and heartless nation that shows no respect for the old and no pity for the young.